calcification. So proliferating trichoepithelial cyst mimicking ulcerated squamous cell carcinoma. This case we recently published in our NTR UHS journal, single case report. So which will be mistaken for squamous cell carcinoma. Then fifth case, this is also our case where the case was sent for a exercise from this cause. Actually we were struggling to get the history for this case because it was very interesting. Here you can see the polypoidal projection, and underlying that you can see the sebaceous glands. And here the peculiar feature is, you see the secreting columnar recursions with eosinophilic cytoplasm and plasmacytic infiltrate in the stroma. That is the characteristic feature of the syringocystodenoma papillifera. So this is also a very rare case. Thank you.
Thank you.
I could not present only the cases which we were presented 2 years back.
Thank you very much, madam. No more discussion. To call from next.
Thank you.
Dr. Divya Reddy, please. By laparoscopy and laparoscopy guided biopsy. Dr. Divya Reddy, please.
Respected dignitaries, professors and my dear friends, good afternoon everyone. Today I am going to present the study cervical cytopathology, evaluation of its efficacy in detecting cervical precancers and cancerous lesions. Cervical carcinoma is the most common malignancy in women in India. It is a preventable disease as it has a very long pre-invasive period. Effective screening and timely treatment during this period has reduced the disease-related mortality by 70% in the Western world. In a resource-poor country such as India, it is important to find a low-cost but effective screening method. The aim is to study the demographics of cervical cancer and to correlate the cytological findings with the histopathological findings, and to assess the accuracy of Pap test as a screening procedure for cervical cancer. The study was conducted in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Maharati Institute of Medical Sciences, over a period of 2 years. It is a prospective analytical study, and the sample size is 500 women. We have included all women who have presented to gynecological OPD with abnormal vaginal discharge, postcoital bleeding, intermenstrual bleeding, postmenopausal bleeding, erosion of the cervix, cervical polyps, Nepothian follicles on the speculum examination. We have excluded women who have known case of carcinoma cervix and those who have evident cervical growth, active bleeding per vaginum, pregnant women, and women with post-hysterectomy status or with previous history of treatment for cervical carcinoma. After taking a detailed clinical history and consent, all the eligible women were subjected to Pap smear by the conventional technique using Alice spatula, followed by cervical biopsy from extrovert epithelium and abnormal areas on colposcopy with a punch biopsy forceps. Both the samples were sent to the pathology lab for reporting. Cytology was reported by the pathologist as per the Bethesda 3 system, and the histopathology was reported in the CN system. The cytology was considered positive if it was reported atypical squamous cells or more, and the biopsy was considered positive if it showed cervical intraepithelial neoplasia grade 1 or more. The diagnostic accuracy was assessed by comparing with the gold standard, that is the colposcopy directed cervical biopsy. Coming to the results, this shows the age distribution of the study population, and we see that majority of the population belong to the age group 21 to 30, whereas the majority of positive cases were found in the age group 41 to 50. And the statistical analysis shows that the incidence in women over 40 years is almost twice than the incidence in the younger women. Coming to the relation between the age of marriage and the incidence, we have found that many of the women were married before 20 years, and approximately 91.4% of the positive results showed married women before 20 years. So the incidence of the precancers and cancerous lesions is 1.5 times higher in women married before 20 years than those married at a later date. In relation to the duration of marital life, although majority of the women were married for 11 to 20 years, the statistical analysis shows that marital life greater than 30 years had 2 times increased risk of the having cancerous or precancerous lesions of the cervix. In relation to the parity, many of the women had 1 or 2 children, but gradual increase in parity, that is parity greater than 4, is associated with 3 times higher risk. Many women who have come to the OPD belong to the low socioeconomic status, and 81.5% of positive cases were in women from low socioeconomic status. And they also had 3.6 times increased risk. White discharge was the most common complaint, and majority of the positive cases were also found in white discharge patients. However, the postpartum bleeding, the symptom of postpartum bleeding was associated with higher risk of developing cervical malignancy. Out of 500 cases studied, 88 were positive for pap smear, of which 3% were showed elliptical squamous cells of undetermined significance, 9% showed low-grade squamous intraepithelial lesions, 3% showed high-grade squamous intraepithelial lesion, and frank malignancy was found in 3% of the patients. Coming to the cervical biopsy report, out of the 500 subjects studied, 106 women had positive biopsy, of which CA grade 1 was found in 13%, grade 2 and grade 3 were found in 19%, 19 patients. So when the pap smear was assessed by taking the gold standard colposcopy guided biopsy, we found that the sensitivity of the pap test is 64% and the specificity is 94.9%. Positive predictive value is 77.3% and the negative predictive value is 90.8%. Accuracy of pap test, that is, the number of true positives and number of true negatives among the total study group is 88.4%. This slide shows the comparison between the present study with various other studies that have evaluated the efficacy of pap smear in relation with the colposcopy, and it shows that our study is in agreement with the various other studies. To summarize, early age of marriage, multiparity, low socioeconomic status, and women with postpartum bleeding are at higher risk of developing precancerous and cancerous lesions. When colposcopy guided biopsy was taken as a reference standard, the sensitivity specificity are as follows. To conclude, widespread use of pap smear for screening of cervical pathology can effectively decrease the incidence of the disease. Pap smear is relatively simple, acceptable, and inexpensive. Because of lower sensitivity of pap smear, repeated cytological screenings are required. Abnormal cytology results on pap smear should be followed by colposcopy directed biopsy in selected cases for confirmation and treatment. Thank you.
Thank you,
Agnes?
No, ma'am. Agnes will not have.
Adenocarcinoma. What about the testing for HPV virus?
Actually, ma'am, we have specific guidelines. We should not do HPV DNA testing in younger women because the incidence is very high, and approximately 90% of them will between 9 to 15 months will be negative. So, increased HPV DNA testing in young women will result in excessive treatments. So, it is done in women who are positive, elderly women who are positive for pap smear, and punch biopsy also shows positive. We follow them with the HPV DNA testing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. Please, madam.
Sensitivity should be more than 90% because they are asking for the sensitive. But it's a screening test. The positive predictive value is less important when it comes to screening. The sensitivity should be more than 90%. So you need to have a mechanism where your sensitivity should be very high, specificity may be low. Whereas when you're doing a diagnostic in a lab, you need an high sensitivity, a negative predictive value.
Less sensitivity, sampling errors, age line of the pap smear, all results. Moreover, various other screening modalities that have higher sensitivity are costly and not possible in our low resource setting in our country. So, we have gone with the pap smear.
Thank you very much, madam.
HIV testing is done routinely.
Yes, ma'am.
So, did you see that correlation as well?
We did not include that criteria, but yes, it is HIV is associated with
That's what the literature says.
but we did not take that include in the criteria.
If you would have included, it would have been a better study in that.
Yes.
And one more thing that we could point out is you did not multiply that 100 by putting the screening test. Specificity, sensitivity and all, you did not apply that multiplication by 100 thing.
Okay.
You better correct it as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam.
So this is a study of first year students who have taken the study on the method of assessment for their evaluation in medical courses according to their own perspective. What they want from their point of view, from their angle, to take up the study. So this study was taken up by myself and my colleague Dr. Ujjwala in the Department of Community Medicine. So assessment is a process by which the teachers and the students get knowledge about students' progress. It should aim at evaluating their desired learning goals. Assessment is considered to be the most important factor that drives the students' learning. Students tend to learn mainly that material on which they are to be assessed also. Research shows that the type of assessment method adopted can influence students' learning in higher education context, including medical education. So in medical education, this assessment is done by mainly three criteria. One is the written test, another oral, and others such as students' records and projects. So our objective was to study the preferred types of methods for assessment as opined by the medical students. So here the study is a descriptive cross-sectional study. So it was done in our college, and study group were the students of first year MBBS up to 13-14 admission batch. It was done in the month of January 2014. So study tool, the self-administered pre-designed printed questionnaire was administered to them, and 5-point Likert scale was administered. One strongly denoting strongly disagree to 5 strongly denoting agree was used to give a score of 1 to 5. So the questionnaire included only total 12 questions. From oral point of view 4, written 5, alternative 3. So data was entered in Microsoft Excel and analysis was done. So according to our results, total participants were 120 out of 150. That day on which we carried out the study, only 120 students were present. Out of them, male students 42, female students 78 means 33, 63, 66 like that. Mean age is about 19 plus or minus 2.3 years. So preferences for methods of assessment as stated by the medical students in general. Orals were the most important. Alternate methods came second. Written came third. You just follow this. How interesting it is. So top preference was given by the students individual oral test. That was given the top preference with questions given prior to test and answers also prepared with supporting material. That was their top choice. Second top choice was oral test in the form of a group discussion where the instructor observes and assesses the contribution of each of the participants. Here the individual student is afraid of everything, so he wants to find himself in a group. And papers projects came of course in third. So least preferred method was take home assignment, no homework, oral test individual without supporting material, and written test without supporting material. These were the least preferred methods. So here some of the graphs, individual oral test without supporting material. You just observe the graphs, how strongly disagree 48 people and strongly agree only 6. So like this individual oral test, questioning prior to test, questions given prior to test and answers prepared without supporting material. Here the strongly disagree D, somewhat agree disagree only 30. So what does somewhat agree only 66. So quite contrasting to our thought. So individual oral test, questions given prior to test and answers prepared with the supporting materials. So strongly disagree is 8, whereas strongly agree goes to 22. So oral test as group discussion with the instructor while observing and assessing the contribution of each of the participants. Where here somewhat agree 48 and strongly agree 42. So they prefer this very much. The written test without supporting materials, strongly disagree 48 and somewhat disagree 12, means about 60% don't agree for this oral written test without any supporting material. With supporting material, somewhat agree 66, strongly agree 12, means about 78% they agree with supporting materials. So written test like this without supporting materials and written test with a time limit without supporting material. Take home assignments, strongly disagree 60. Alternative methods. Alternative methods means when we give some projects, records like that. So strongly disagree. So these are colored coded So in a discussion in the similar study, the most preferred method of assessment of performance was observed to be a written test without a time limit and without supporting method, which is not conducted in our country. It is Saudi Arabia. So this our conclusion that in the current study, the most preferred method of assessment was academic performance. For academic performance, according to the study, participants was observed as a group were test least preferred method of the above assessment was take-home assignment. So a pilot study of the preferred method assessment should be implemented and their achievements in terms of marks and grades should be correlated. So this study actually we had presented in the state educational conference and I got a gold medal out of this and here already this has been published in the International Journal of Innovative Research Studies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, this paper is open for discussion.